Hello and welcome to another chatty video. This time though, I'm gonna be doing something while we talk to make it a little more entertaining for you. I'm gonna be making a dinner, and this is a good one to film because I'm getting a little into my chef mode here because I'm kind of winging it. You know, I'm doing my own thing. I mean, I am stealing a dish from a restaurant that I had recently. But still with my own alterations. So let's begin. We gotta get organized here. I apologize for the sound quality in this video. Some of the things I'm doing are not gonna sound good, but this is being filmed on my phone, okay? Okay. First things first, I like to prep. I put my tin foil onto my pan. And I should probably tell you what I'm gonna be making, unless, let's do a slow reveal. Why not? Intrigue. Tin foil is in the pan. First things first, I have been brining my chicken breast. I can't quite tilt it to the camera because the water will spill out. Don't know if you can see this, but apparently this makes it more flavorful and juicier when you bake it. So I'm just gonna rinse it off and season it in my pan. All right, let's get to seasoning here. I'm gonna use sesame oil, my favorite oil of all time, some lemon pepper seasoning, I guess, salt, even though the lemon pepper has salt in it, I believe, and paprika and chili powder. I don't know if these things necessarily go with the dish I'm even making, but I just like to give the chicken as much flavor as I can because, and this is why I also brined it. I was checking the temperature that's best for baking chicken because I haven't done it in a while, and stumbled upon this article that was like, you should brine your chicken, which just means keeping it in salty water for a while before you bake it, because I can't stand baked plain chicken breast. It's really revolting to me. Like the texture, there's something about the flavor is a little weird. I don't know. I try to do whatever I can to make it taste better, even though I am going to be putting it in a sauce for what I'm making. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue, but we're taking every precaution necessary. So basically, I was kind of inspired to make this video because I've been watching a bunch of Noah Time. I stumbled across this channel and I actually don't know what his main channel is. He mentioned that he had one in one of the Noah Time videos and I was like, huh, but I just haven't had a chance to look it up. But yeah, so if you haven't seen these, he basically is just doing household chores while talking about stuff. Sometimes there's a specific topic, sometimes there isn't. And I know there's like videos like this out there where it's like clean with me or cook with me, which is what we're doing here. And I've never really watched them that much. Like I've more so just come across that sort of thing when I watch vlogs where people have, oh my God, the chicken is starting to cook from underneath from the heat of the oven coming up. I've watched vlogs where they have those kinds of sequences that are satisfying to watch, but I've never actually watched videos where that's all that's happening. Hold on, I have to rinse my hand. So the Noah Time videos are the first ones I've come across where I'm like, I just really like this person and the way they talk, and it's like meditative to watch and it's very chill and nice. So I was like, you know what? I want to try this. I want to do a fun little chill video where, I mean, obviously I already kind of started on this with the last one, the chatty one, but that one was more like focused on a specific topic, whereas this is like, hang out with me, I might talk about whatever, and you can watch and see what I'm doing, or if you want to cook while I'm doing this with me, doing your own thing. So this article also told me that if you set it to 450, you only have to bake it for 15 to 18 minutes, which is great. I just realized I can't set a timer on my phone, so I have to grab my laptop to do that. Since I'm filming with the phone, very high tech in this house. If I don't set a timer, I will 100% forget and burn it. Timer, 18 minutes, go. All right, next step, we are going to boil some water. We're gonna boil some water because we will be making, just a moment,
Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment. Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment.
This freaking, you can see this. We've got some low lighting. This is mood lighting, okay? Fusilli pasta made from, wow, the chicken is really crackling. Made from quinoa and seaweed. It's healthy, hoity-toity healthy, but I am trying to be kind of partially gluten-free right now. I've been going through some dietary experiments. I'm trying to cut out certain FODMAPs because I've always been very bloated. And so I'm finally like, all right, let's check that out. So anyway, that's why I'm having this kind of pasta, but it does seem to be healthier too. So let's get that going. Okay, I like to just put it right on high to get it boiling ASAP. And we salt it, make it nice and salty. So now you might be starting to put the pieces together a little bit. Okay, we have pasta, we have chicken. What else are we gonna do? Well, you're about to find out slowly. So we have some coconut milk, okay? We also have some aged cheddar. Love this, haven't had this in a long time. I don't eat a whole lot of cheese, but I did ensure that certain cheeses are actually okay in terms of FODMAPs. Hard cheeses tend to be okay. And we have radicchio. I've actually never cooked with this, but this was in the dish that I'm trying to recreate. And what else was I gonna use? Maybe this is weird, but a little bit of mayo. So what the heck is she doing? I'm basically trying to create an Alfredo sauce or some kind of creamy cheese, but like a sharp cheese pasta sauce without actual cream. So that's hence the coconut milk, and without garlic and onion, because that's what I'm trying to avoid right now. This is the stage I'm currently at in my FODMAP avoidance. So I'm using coconut milk, I'm using cheese, and I'm using a little bit of mayo. First, I'm gonna chop this up because I want that to be ready for me to throw in. And this pan's probably not gonna be big enough, but we will try. I cook in bulk, so I often find things are overflowing. I don't have clean bowls to put my chopped radicchio in. Gotta wash one. God damn it. Okay, so this actually brings me to what I wanted to talk about, why Noah Time really inspired me and was such a good thing for me to watch right now. It's just hard to talk while I'm doing things that make noise. Hold on. I went on a run today for the first time in a while, outside, because it is unseasonably warm. It was 13 degrees, sunny, but it was still cold enough to kind of affect my throat a little, hence the cough. So Noah Time was really comforting because I've been having trouble with motivation to do the constant housekeeping that is required as an adult. I generally still get it done. It's not like out of control or anything, but I find I'm always dreading it, and I always kind of put it off on the day I know I have to do it, like my meal prep day, for example. So not only is it nice to see someone doing those things and potentially do it with them while they're doing it. I didn't do that though. I just kind of watched his videos, and I'm not sure how to cut this. It's quite satisfying though. It's like a soft cabbage, but it's quite bitter if you haven't had it before. Oh, the water's boiling. Let's get the strainer ready. It is boiling hard. All right, that might not be enough water. How long do I do this for? I assume it's similar to every other. Oh, there's psyllium in this for the extra fiber. That's why this has so much fiber. Bring to a boil, salt to taste, blah, blah, blah. Cook for 5 minutes to your al dente preference. Okay, well, I already have another timer going, which is at 8 minutes. So hopefully I will remember to check it or see when 5 minutes have passed. So yeah, it was just a really good reminder watching his videos that we all have to go through this, and it's not as bad as we think in the moment that we're dreading it. Like, every time I do dread it, once I start doing it, I do find satisfaction from it, you know? Like, it feels good to accomplish things, and heck, it can even be fun to cook, and you can get creative with it, and like, especially if you really love food like I do, I've always allowed the process to kind of stress me out a little, and whatever. Like, I haven't let myself have as much fun with it as I could have. One of the comments on one of his videos was talking about how the repetitiveness of chores, it's not something that we should let frustrate us because it feels like it's never done, especially with cleaning, right? Like with cooking, it's different because you're always creating something, but with cleaning, it's like, I clean and then it gets dirty again, and then I have to clean and then it gets dirty again. Similar cyclical nature to cooking. You cook, then you finish the food, then you have to cook again. You finish the food, then you have to cook again. And this comment was about saying how these routines, this repetitiveness, is living through cycles, and that aligns with nature. Nature constantly cycles. It has all these different cycles within cycles within cycles, right? It's like a Russian doll of cycles. And to do these sorts of things, to have routines, to have a repetitive life, first of all, is like pretty unavoidable unless you're, I don't know, an adrenaline junkie or something. So not only is it mostly unavoidable, but it's also something that should bring us comfort and satisfaction, knowing that we are doing what's natural for us. And I don't know, I just think that to feel aligned with nature is a really good feeling. Like, it sounds healthy and good to me. So yeah, I just really loved that description of the human condition. And it really made me feel so much better about all of these things that I feel like I constantly have to do. You know, my perspective so much in the past has been, oh, like I could be doing something else. It's really frustrating how much time it takes to do all these things, because I could be doing something else, something I'd prefer to do more, like say working on a project I'm excited about. Like usually I find I'd rather be working on something or like having pure free time where I'm just like vegging out at the TV or reading or whatever. But I think a big part of happiness and satisfaction in life is learning to find joy in the things you have to do. And it sounds really corny and cliche, but truly it is the way out of suffering. Like, and it's hard to get there. I'm sure, because I'd say for most of my life, if somebody said that to me, I'd kind of like roll my eyes, wouldn't really find it to be very realistic. But the more you get into meditation and mindfulness, being present, gratitude, yada yada, all the shit that us folks who aren't just happy by default have to do, which I think is most people. It's kind of the human condition to be dissatisfied. Okay, that is not soft enough yet. Oh wow. Okay, there's definitely a bit of seaweed flavor in that, which I shouldn't be surprised by. Not sure how that's gonna go with the rest of the dish, but I think it's mild enough. It'll be masked by the sharp flavors in the sauce. Okay, maybe I'll just pour that out when I take out my chicken, which I need to make room for. So yeah, I've been, trying to remind myself to do that more, to find ways to make all the things I have to do enjoyable, and watching Noah Time was just another thing that reminded me of that, and yeah, inspired me to make this video. Like, this is one way to make it more fun, because it's more like a hangout, which I have to say, in the past, I have always found overwhelming. I've found it overwhelming to cook and try to talk to someone at the same time, but at least this is a little bit easier because it's just me talking. I don't have to like pay attention to what anyone else is saying, and I can stop and start when I want to. That's a lot of radicchio. So wow, that's a lot of volume. Okay, I did not expect that. So I might have to cook it separately because that's gonna fill up this whole pan. Now it might reduce quite a bit, but speaking of reducing, let's start reducing this coconut milk to a thick sauce. Jeez, what the fuck? Did I get a little more cooked than the last time? Turn the oven off. The last step of this chicken making process that this article told me about is to let it rest and to cover it while it rests. Apparently that helps the juices really settle in or something. Oh, okay, gotta take the pasta off. Hot. So let's begin. I'm not sure what temp this should be at. Maybe like we'll start with a medium 5-ish. Oh, God damn it. These damn can openers that don't quite work. Woo. Yeah, so normally you'd be like, oh, saute some garlic and onion. And I'm sure it does make it a lot better, but yeah, that's part of why I guess I was inspired to make my own sauce. Usually I just use store-bought pesto, but like every pasta sauce you find has garlic and onion. It's very hard to avoid. So yeah, gratitude, meditation. I guess this is becoming like my self-care journey or some shit. If I'm already talking about trying to find joy in things, that really takes me down the road of just trying to feel better in general and prioritizing my health more. Ever since being in my 30s, the lifestyle that I had was really not conducive to feeling good. So I have a history of insomnia. It's not terrible, like, it's not like I don't sleep all night, but, I just was never getting enough sleep. And it would accumulate rather quickly, and I would just be dead zone, zombie zone, and then be wired most of the time because my body would just kick into adrenaline mode, and so then I'd be wired, and then I wouldn't be sleepy when it was time to go to sleep. I also had terrible sleep hygiene, which I just didn't want to do anything about for a long time because I didn't want to give up my screen time before bed. That's like how I grew up, actually. My family, we would always watch like a movie or a part of a movie before bed and like continue it the next night sort of thing. I should probably just shred this if I want it to melt easily. So I very much was used to that from a young age, and that was really hard to let go of. But I think, actually funny enough, I have recently still been doing that. I just set my screen to extremely low brightness, like the lowest brightness possible, and it's in night mode, and I do that with both my computer and my phone, which isn't great because I actually was reading before bed for a time there, out of desperation, I finally started doing it, but it's still not a habit that I've fully adopted yet in terms of consistency. So anyway, yeah, I've been prioritizing my sleep a lot more in the last year. Still struggling with it. Where we're at now is I seem to have fixed my nighttime sleep routine enough that I don't really have much trouble falling asleep, which is really great. I used to work in bed, which is like the worst thing you can do. And I definitely don't do that anymore. In fact, I don't do much in the bedroom at all, other than like extremely relaxing activities, but still not in bed. So now I can fall asleep just fine, but lately I've been waking up too early. I can't stay asleep long enough, which is actually a more common version of insomnia apparently, which I didn't expect. But that seems to have become an issue for me. It seems to have become quite consistent in like the last month or so. And, I was sitting there looking at my log of all of my habits that I now have because that's where we're at in life. And I was like, this one stressful thing kind of developed a few weeks ago, and it's something that's up in the air for me and something I seemingly have no control over at this time. And I think maybe that has something to do with it. And so now that I've fixed my bedtime routine, the insomnia is still kicking. It's just kicking me on the other end. So then that motivated me to, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to make more efforts here. I need to start meditating again. I pretty much completely stopped. Well, I've been consistently inconsistent. A few months ago, I was doing a meditation in order to fall asleep, which I don't even need to do anymore. But I haven't been doing daytime meditations for a long time. And I figured, well, I need all the help I can get. Clearly I'm unconsciously stressed out, and I need to every day be practicing letting go of this thing that's stressing me out, because what use is it going to be to me to stress out about it? None at all. And it's actually just going to ruin my life because it's going to make me tired all the time. So getting back on that train feels good. And another thing I've been doing is I'm now making an effort to not constantly have something on in the background all the time. So this is a habit I started leaning into extremely hard once I started living alone, so for the last year or so, because it was just so odd to walk around my house knowing I was completely alone and Oh, I need to also season this. Let's not forget to do that. Although I feel like the cheese is plenty of seasoning, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just so salty and good. What was I saying? Yeah, because it's just so weird to be in a place alone, nothing's happening around you, the only activity is your activity. It wasn't just that, it was also, I've just become so used to never being bored and to always entertaining myself with something. And yeah, it just like completely spiraled to, from the moment I woke up, I'd turn on the radio and listen to the news. And like, when I started doing that, I was like, this is a good habit because I don't read the news and I don't really consume the news other than through that method. So I was like, this will be good. I'm gonna be in the know about things. But starting my day off that way, just like immediately consuming information, and then at every possible break in between work, I'm consuming information and I'm entertaining myself with every mindless task, like getting ready for bed, or when I'm stretching, or when I'm running, or like anything that I don't really have to use my brain. I'd be listening to something and it's like, okay, there's gotta be a limit to that. Like, yeah, it's great to take in information, but it's probably putting you on just a different level of stimulation and hyperactivity all the time. Like, to just constantly have someone talking at you, which is the sucky thing about YouTube too. Like, depending on what you watch, I watch a lot of videos with people just talking, right? And like, I love it. That's why I can watch it so much. But to do that for most of my day, and I also spend my working hours editing videos with somebody talking, like, it's just a constant, like the energy level is up here when like it should be down here. So I was like, well, you know, maybe no wonder I can't stay asleep long enough, because I'm just like at a heightened state all the time. And oh, the other thing that inspired me, there's been so many different things coming into play here. But I think it's just a matter of like keeping your mind open to it. My power went out a few days ago, and oh God, this is creating a film. I don't like that. What seasoning can I put in this, I wonder? I don't know if like any of these things are gonna be good for it. Maybe a little bit of lemon pepper, give it a little kick. Yeah, I do find I like acid in things. If I can't have spice or salt, acid is the next best thing. Although this will have plenty of salt. When my power went out, my initial reaction was concern, because I thought, oh God, like my internet went out. And I have data on my phone, but not enough to like watch hours of video on it. And this was like right before I was about to be done working for the day. And I was concerned that I wasn't gonna be able to entertain myself for hours. What was I gonna do? And it turned out to be just the loveliest night. Like, I enjoyed it so much. I lit candles and put them all around my apartment. It created such a cozy vibe. And I'm already a low lighting queen in the evenings anyway, so I just loved that. And there was just this sense of like calm, knowing I didn't have, like I still had data on my phone, but that I didn't have access to the very expanded world of the internet that I usually partake in. It really, at that moment, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm actually gonna try not to be on my phone very much. I'm gonna really just not engage with all the constant notifications and the people I chat with and all that stuff. And I grabbed one of my external hard drives and checked what I had downloaded on there. And I started watching The Bridges of Madison County, which I think I had started a while ago and I never finished it. And the pacing of that movie was just so nice and calm as well. It was like, it reminded me, the whole experience reminded me of what it used to feel like, just to be living day to day. It was when, what's his name? Richard or Robert? I think it was Robert. It's confusing that her husband and her lover, both of their names start with R. He comes in and asks her for directions. And she's telling him, but she keeps screwing it up. And she's like, oh, no, wait. You go, you take a left, and then you wait for the blah, blah. By the way, Meryl Streep's subtle Italian accent in that movie should have won her an Oscar. Maybe it did, I don't know. I know she's won like thousands. Anyway, that particular scene had me thinking, wow, the days where information wasn't so readily available. It used to just be, again, and this is similar to the loneliness thing I was talking about in the last video, lulls in activity used to be so much more ingrained in our lives because we didn't have the technology to immediately get the things we needed like we do now. And so obviously, I'm not saying anything new here, but this experience reminded me on like a physical level how different it feels to not be constantly plugged in. It's a different pace of living truly for your body and for your mind. And so since then, I've been trying not to consume as much media, started meditating again, not going on my phone immediately when I wake up. I've fallen into the terrible habit recently of while I'm like, my alarm goes off, I turn it off. I grab my phone and I just like check notifications on my phone for 10 minutes or so because I don't want to get out of bed yet. Like lately I haven't been wanting to get out of bed right away. I've been feeling a bit lazy. So I sit on my phone and it's like the worst thing you can do. Maybe it has started influencing my morning and my wake up clock somehow. So yeah, just been trying to do all the good things, and it's so hard. It's so hard to stay away from all of the addictive bells and whistles we have on our phones. But you really do feel better when you don't indulge in it as much and you give your brain space to, what are all these, it's the salt and pepper. I was like, what are all these bits in the sauce? If you're constantly distracting yourself, this is why people like suddenly have a million thoughts when they go to sleep. They haven't given their brains the chance to have those thoughts throughout the day. They've been constantly distracted by other things. Let your mind wander. It needs time to do that. Otherwise, you can go nuts. Okay, I think I've reduced this a good amount. I wonder if I can give it a little taste without burning myself. Oh shit. That's delicious. It's all because of the cheese. I didn't put anything in this other than the cheese. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about putting all of this radicchio in here because it's gonna soak it all up. Like there won't be any sauce left. So I wonder if I should add volume with more cheese. Probably, because I don't have any coconut milk left. And then I might add some mayo too. I didn't end up doing that. So yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Have you been going through any of these same issues? I imagine probably yes. I feel like most people these days are facing these issues. Too much distraction. Today was a really beautiful, excellent day because like when it's nice out, it's the best day to not need media distraction because being outside on a sunny day is just like, I'm sorry, but right now where I'm at, there's nothing better, or there's a few things, but it's one of the best things in life, and I'm just like so easily entertained just sitting out in the sun, not doing anything, just zoning out, just people watching, whatever. So on days like that, it's a lot easier. But on like a gloomy, cold day where you have to be inside all day, it's hard, man, it's hard. But yeah, I freaking worked on my balconies from like noon onwards, and then I probably turn this down. And then I went on a run, then I stretched outside, and that was the peak. That was the peak of my day because I was listening to SZA and just feeling the sun caress my whole body and just like obviously feeling the endorphins from the run, and the stretching was so good and calming, and man, oh man, I was just like staring up at the freaking great blue sky, and I was like, this is what life is all about. Sorry. Like, I feel like what I'm saying right now is so basic, and like younger me would have been like, okay, boring. Like, really? That's all you need to make you happy? Turns out, yeah, I mean, a balance of that and like, you know, going after certain goals and whatnot. But truly, it is amazing to be outside and to just be present in the world, and even better with other people. But I had a lovely time on my own today as well. All right, this is now becoming a thick sauce. So this isn't very healthy, but that's why I put the radicchio in it. That's why I tried to get healthy pasta. I'm adding chicken for protein. You know, we're trying. I guess I'm gonna try and add this radicchio and cook it down a little. I don't even know how much it needs to cook, really. But it's just, I'm just afraid I'm gonna lose all the sauce. You know what? Then maybe let's not put it all in and be reasonable here. and I'll try and use the rest for something else. I don't know. Add it to my salad, although it's going to be very overwhelming because radicchio is bitter. It's very bitter. I don't know if I can just add that to a salad. Although I have like a pretty creamy based, I've been eating Cobb salad and absolutely loving it. I make it super spicy so it lights my head on fire, and it's been great. Because I also need to add the chicken to this. Like, I'm not gonna have any sauce left. Also though, fuck, I'm realizing like, is this gonna be enough for like 4 portions of pasta? I might have to go out and get more coconut milk because this like just doesn't seem like a lot at all. I'm getting quite hungry. Cheesy and delicious. Okay, now let that sit there and chop the chicken, and then we're done. The chicken has been resting beautifully. Let's test it. Yo, I think the brine really worked that time. I also did this for lunch to put in my Cobb salad, but I didn't brine it as long. This actually does have more flavor because it really soaked in. Yum. Nice going. See, like when I give myself the time and like the allowance to really lean into cooking and have fun with it and like experiment and put in the effort to make things better, the reward that you get from that is just so strong, and it really makes you enjoy the whole experience. I've just been such a lazy bitch. Like, laziness is in my bones. It is in my DNA. I will try and do things as efficiently as I can always, and as fast as I can always. Like, unless it's something really lazy. If it's something lazy, then I can do it all day. It's just how I am, and I have to really try and fight that, because what happens when I indulge the laziness is I don't feel good after a time. So, whereas I do feel good when I actually start doing the things that I've been putting off, circling all the way back to where we started here. Yo, look at this. It's so cute. Also, wow, I have a seasoned hand. Don't look at me. Okay, so the chicken adds some volume. That's good. I apologize you don't have any close-ups here, but I will show you the meal once it's complete, once I put it all in a bowl. I like to keep my sauce separate when I package it away and put it into the fridge, because I find that the sauce gets soaked up into the noodles, and it's like what's in here is already gonna soak up the sauce, the chicken and the radicchio, so now all the seasoning from the chicken is seeping into the sauce, which hopefully will be good. I think this is done. I think I can turn the heat off. Cool. Like, we softened the radicchio. I think that's all we really need to do with that. So, I think what I'll do now is a little cleaning montage. I'm not gonna talk. I'm gonna, what's it called? I'm gonna time-lapse this, because I like to get that out of the way before I eat, and it should be satisfying for you to watch. So, here we go. It all just became one block. I usually mix in butter, but I don't have butter. Okay, cleanup is done. I'm gonna show you a nice little close-up of what's in the pan here before I put it in the bowl, because I think it looks nice here. Look at this. Delicious. Goodness. Cheesy, creamy goodness. Oh, I've really been getting into these sauces a lot more lately after a very long pesto phase. Also, it's not as satisfying of a shot as I thought, because everything's stacked up really tight together, but there's like, I washed a lot of stuff, guys. I swear I washed a lot of stuff. Thanks for hanging out with me, cooking with me. It was fun, right? All right, I'll see you in the next one. send you off with a nice little taste test shot. I can't get it on my fork. This is pathetic. Girl learns how to eat. And I almost just choked on it. You know what? It's great. It's so simple, but how can you go wrong with a sharp cheese and noodles? Honestly, the chicken and the radicchio, like the radicchio is a nice touch. Actually, the chicken is just there for protein, basically. But yeah, it's dope. Try it out. Bye.